So we're here to solve this classic Sudoku called Diamond. I'm going to start the way I tend to start these puzzles, which is to just start to scan groups of 3 rows together, specifically the first through third, then the fourth through sixth, and so forth. I always look for either an interesting geometry or really just 2 digits and placing the third in the grid, and I'll put in notes with an either or choice. I've got 2 6s and 2 5s up top, and only the 6 needs a note. I wouldn't put a 5 in here. I've got 2 2s, which gives me this 2, and I'll track it vertically immediately. So I put in the notes, I've got 2 8s, which gives this 8, which tracks vertically immediately to here. I see everything else is a singleton. On the bottom, I've got 2 7s, but that's a lot of choices. I've got 2 1s. Let's go like this. Now coming vertically, I've got 2 5s. In the leftmost columns, puts in this 5. Everything else is duplicated. Or sorry, a singleton, nothing else is duplicated. I've got 2 1s, which makes me look for the last one, which is here. Put in the note across. I got 2 6s. That puts in the 6, puts in the 6, puts in a 6 coming down. And I've got 2 8s, which I've marked, and everything else looks like I've accounted for. Actually, I've got 2 2s, and that puts in this 2, puts in this 2. And in the last group, I had the 2 2s I've already marked, and everything else is a singleton. So now we're going to go outside of our standard notes and start to think about more constrained spaces. And these 4 cells are pretty interesting. They have a digit like this 4 that comes down and cancels. So I'd be thinking about a note like this, but looking across, I already have that 4 there. So I get a 4, gives me a 4, gives me a 4 in one of these cells, gives me this 4. Those 2 4s looking left give me this 4, and looking down, that gives me this, and I get my first intersection with a pair. 4 5 is now marked in my notes, so I don't have a lot of other choices. So the 7 coming across now is this note, but actually this pair blocks this column from things, so the 8 has to be up top here, and coming down below, the 8 has only this cell to go in, which moves across the 2, which moves up the 6. Using my notes, I just placed a 6, so I'll think about 6. That gives me those. I've got all the 6s in the grid. I just placed a 2, so I'm going to come back here and place another 2, place another 2. All the 2s are in the grid. I just placed this 8, so what more can that give me? This 8 coming across gives me this 8, which gives me an 8 note there. I think that's all I can do in this box. I've got 7, 9 is the last digits here, which come across, and that's going to put a 9, 9 like this over in those cells. I still have a little bit to do to track through the grid. Actually, the center cell is free right now because I have the whole column. Gives me a 9, gives me a 9, puts in the 7, which gives me this 7. Choice up here, 3, 5, 7 left to go here. None of those digits are pointed at. I do have a 1 and a 3, and then some place for a 7 to think about. The 3 looks like a pretty good digit to get to the top because I can write in this note, and doing that I get a pointing pair over to the top row here, which gives a 3, pushes down the 8 note, pushes down this 8 note like so, and then I just also place this 3, so when I come back over here I got a 3 in one of these cells. I haven't marked it yet though, but the 3 here has to be up top, so the 3 is down there. That now gives me a more limited cage. I've got 4 and 5 left to go as notes, so I'm going to look back at those 2 digits. The 4 and 4 come down here, and I got 4 and 1. Gives me a 1, gives me a 5. That's another 5, gives me a 9. Coming up this column, that's the last 9. I've got 5 and 7 to go, 5 and 7 up top. 7 over here, 9 over there. This row finishes with a 9, gives me a 9, gives me a 7. That puts in a 7 coming across in these cells. 7 coming down gives me 7. 5 and 3. 3 finishes out. Last space for 1, last space for 7. Gives me 1, push over 3, push over 7. We have this 3 coming down here, which fills in this. That puts 5, 5. I got the 5 from the right, giving 5, 4, 4, and 9. So a lot of build up at the start, but then fast cascade at the end, which is pretty typical for a midweek puzzle. In my notation style, it was key to get this pair of 4, 5 on the left, which placed this 8, and then a lot of stuff cascaded out. The 8s came over here, placed all the 8s, the 2 and 6 came in to place those digits. So hopefully you got a sense of how to track into a puzzle like this. A key thing with classic Sudoku is to not overrun your progress. You can sometimes make some of these placements like this number, place a 2 and 6 quickly, and then forget to look back at this number and get an 8 over into this cell to then propagate up to the top. So That's my path to solving this puzzle quickly. Hopefully got a sense of some speed solving skills, and we'll see you again soon.